Hello and welcome to a new video that is this time a commentary drive with me doing a test route out of Maybush, Southampton. We're starting off on the side of the road in Green Lane, not too far away from the entrance to the CES Centre, and as you can see it's very busy at this start time. So I haven't waited for a clear spot to become available. I've done my all-round observations nice and early, and when an opportunity has become available, I've moved into a quick holdback position so that I'm not encouraging people behind me to think that I'm still stopping on the side of the road. And then I've done observations to move out around the parked vehicle and obviously observations to move back to my side of the road. We have a vehicle that has moved onto our side of the road ahead of us. Hasn't really caused me too much of a concern, but I did treat it as a potential hazard, so therefore did a set of observations centre and right just in case something did happen that prevented them from being able to clear my path, and it would have meant that I would have either had to change my speed or change my position. I had the observations done well in advance to make sure that any actions I did decide to do was safe and considered. As we start to go down the hill, we are going to be approaching a mini roundabout and we are going to be turning right onto Windermere Avenue. I get my observations done early, but I ensure that I don't put my indicator on until I have passed the road on the right, which is Colne Avenue. And then as there were no vehicles coming up the hill, I enter the roundabout and continue down Windermere Avenue without coming to a complete stop. Going down the hill, we know that we are going to be approaching another mini roundabout at the intersection with Mansell Road West. It is a very open junction, so it is quite easy to see whether there are going to be any cars coming from your right hand side that are going to mean that you need to give way. Even when it's clear, it is important to show that you are going through the complete MSPSL routine, that you are slowing down on the approach to the roundabout just in case you have made a mistake or anyone appears at the last minute. You're better prepared for being able to respond to that situation. Well, we've got a little bit of a quiet section if you are new to my channel, and by the end of this video you're quite happy with the information I'm giving you. It really is helpful if you can like the video and remember to give me a subscribe so that you're up to date with all my future content as it becomes available. Not a lot has been going on since we've been going down the road. The next hazard that we're going to have available to us is the mini roundabout that is opposite Kendall Avenue shops. Before the mini roundabout we have the zebra crossing, so you need to negotiate the zebra crossing before you negotiate the mini roundabout. There is space between the mini roundabout and the zebra crossing for one vehicle, so if the space is clear and you need to give way at the roundabout, you can clear the zebra crossing before you wait at the mini roundabout. Now, the eagle-eyed of you will have spotted before we negotiated the zebra crossing and the mini roundabout, bus was pulling out from the Kendall Avenue shops. As soon as that happened, I was already planning for this event that we're about to happen now. Now, it has to be said that the learner driver in front of us didn't take up a horrendously bad holdback position. They're quite clear of the bus in front of them and they can see clearly down the road. But I think that you could fair to say that they didn't really anticipate the bus stopping as early as they potentially could have done. Even without looking at the time frames of the video, from the moment that the bus came to basically a complete stop and until the oncoming vehicle had actually passed us, is somewhere around 10 seconds. That would have been more than ample enough time if the red car was prepared for it to safely manoeuvre around the bus without actually coming to a complete stop and clear the bus's path before the oncoming learner vehicle had arrived. This would have then meant that after the learner car had gone past the bus and myself, I would have then had time to go past the bus before the next set of oncoming vehicles. So the way you want to think about that is that the lack of thought about the fact that the bus was likely to stop at some stage down that road meant that it held my journey up just by a small amount. Now, there is a chance that if that vehicle would have been on a test, that they would have potentially got a minor fault for hesitation, as it clearly and obviously did delay my journey as well, but I think they would have been a little bit harsh. But the thing to take from it, anytime you are following behind a bus, you should be thinking that at some stage they are going to be pulling over and stopping, and you should be planning for that all the time that you are following behind them. As we approach Millbrook roundabout, there was a queue building up. They were trying to enter the right hand lane for the traffic lights. There was enough space for me to go through, and I reduced my speed to try and do it carefully. But you do need to be aware there's a couple of lowered drain covers there, so be careful of your positioning. As you can see, there was a little judder on the camera as I went past. The instruction we've been given for negotiating this roundabout is turning left second exit. So we're going to do our observation centre on the left, but we're not going to indicate on the approach to the roundabout. We're going to wait until we've passed the junction for Deborah Way, and then as we leave onto Millbrook Road, you can see that the two lanes do merge into one. So we're keeping an eye on our right hand side for the merge and turn areas to make sure that nobody is trying to overtake us at the last moment. It is not worth having a fight when someone's trying to take the space in front of you. And also finally that the lane is a flow through lane. There's no giveaway lines there. You are going to be a new lane that develops on the dual carriageway that goes from 2 lanes to 3 lanes. So this isn't the first time that I tried to shoot this video. Up ahead of us at the Regent's Park Road junction there is a broken down vehicle in what becomes lane 2. The first time I went around, people weren't dealing with it very well, and it wasn't really a video that I wanted to kind of like show off. So in this instance the car's still broken down. You see people spotting it, some people not spotting it, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to speed it up as it takes a little while to negotiate this junction. Watching the video, you probably have seen my head was bouncing around all over the place. So just because I wasn't able to move while I was in that queue, it doesn't mean that other people weren't. So I'll constantly keep an eye on how people are using the space around me. And then once I'd passed the obstacle, it was my job to return back to my side of the road. And in this instance, you saw that I did quite a vigorous blind spot check. Unusual circumstance, people may have been behaving in odd ways, so I put extra care into ensuring that my observations were really good, that it was clear to move back to this left hand side. Now normally one of the things that I do is I tell my pupils that you should really think carefully about putting the indicator on before you see the junction. This is one of those exceptions. So the Millbrook Road is a 40-mile-per-hour road, and the turn into Waterhouse Lane is quite a tight turn, and you're going into a 20-mile-per-hour road. There's not really a slip road there, so we're having to slow down quite a lot. So I advise people to observe and indicate early to give people more time behind you to prepare for your slowing down. Now Waterhouse Lane is not the best of the roads at the best of times, and in this instance we've got a lot of roadworks going on as well. So you want to progress down this road very cautiously. I think at one stage you see me kind of like actively peering round a corner to see what I could see further ahead down the road. Lots of observations, lots of cautions as you go past every single obstacle. Constantly checking centre right, centre left as you're moving the position within the lane on a frequent basis, and just expect anything to happen, anything to come around the corners, and you're generally driving in a shared space in the middle of the road, so expect yourself to have to come to a complete stop or take advantage of a gap on your left hand side as you travel down the entirety of that road. Now this part of the test area is pretty much all 20-mile-per-hour roads. Anytime you're in the housing estates you should expect the road speed limit to be 20 miles an hour. There are a few roads or parts of the roads, like parts of Shirley Road and parts of Hill Lane, that have returned to 30 miles an hour, but you should be actively expecting it all to be 20. keep an eye on the street lights for the repeater signs to remind you as you're going along. At the end of Waterhouse Way, we are going to be turning left, and then we are going to be instantly turning right onto Lansdowne Road. Lansdowne Road is a tight road, and we have got a blind 90-degree turn. The advice I give here, keep driving in a straight line as long as possible. Keep the right hand side of the road open so that if there are any vehicles oncoming as you go round the corner, you give them space to pass you on your right hand side. If you turn too early and there are oncoming vehicles around that corner, they have got nowhere to go and your life is very difficult to move out of the way. So make full use of all available space. Sometimes that means driving into an area that looks like you shouldn't be using it and then doing quite a harsh turn so that you can continue your journey down the road. If you do that, it will just keep you safer at all times. Now this area of Shirley is generally one where the roads are a little bit tighter and there are a lot of parked cars around. They're often parked very close to kind of like junctions. And as we exit Tilbrook Road onto Prince of Wales Avenue, you see here I make a specific effort to try and make sure that I get back to my side of the road before I do the turn. If there's any vehicles that are going to be turning right into the road that you're leaving, you don't want to be taking up any of the space that they would be expecting to use. So that little bit of extra effort may prevent you having an incident at some stage in the future. Prince of Wales Avenue has got one very important thing that we need to pay attention to. At the end of Prince of Wales Avenue, as we turn left into Oakley Road, we have one of the very few stop lines around Southampton. It is important that you do not peep and creep towards this line. Control your speed early, get yourself into a good position and stop completely at the stop line. It is a blind junction. It really is quite difficult to see to the right hand side. So if you stop too early, you're going to make the decision to leave the road a lot more challenging. So be very careful how you position yourself on the end of Prince of Wales Avenue. Now the crossroads of Oakley Road and to Borver Way can be a little bit challenging. We're going to be turning right here, so we've gone into the right hand lane, and the oncoming traffic is also going to be under a green light with a lot of that traffic wanting to turn right. Unfortunately, there are no markings telling you where to position yourself, and more often than not you're going to be expecting to do this manoeuvre on the offside to offside, which is infinitely more challenging than the near side to near side. So you want to be actively planning where you want to position yourself, how you want to be increasing your ability to see further down the road so that you can make good decisions based on what you see. We don't have any oncoming vehicles this time, but if you can see just in front of my car, just before I turn, there's a little patch of gravel, a little pile of rubbish. That is generally what I would consider to be a good position for stopping and waiting until your opportunity to turn right is available, or the position to start turning right. Things to be aware of at that junction. Number one, whilst there are multiple lanes leaving the road that you're leaving, only one of them is available to turn right, and there are multiple lanes on the road that you are joining. Because there is only one lane that is available to turn right, that means that as you enter the new road, even though there are multiple lanes, the only choice that you have is to go into the left hand lane. The only reason for going into the right hand lane is if markings tell you that it's an appropriate thing to do, or that you know you are going to be turning right very shortly afterwards. The second thing to be aware of is that once you have passed the stop line, the traffic lights no longer have any impact on you. Your job, even if the traffic light has changed to be red, is to clear the junction so that you are not blocking other traffic when it is safe to do so. As the Borver Way turns into Winchester Road and we start going up the hill, the two lanes start to merge into one lane. So as the space is on your right hand side, you can see the merge and turn arrows. Those merge and turn arrows are once again your cue to keep an eye on your right hand side to see if anyone is making any last minute efforts to try and get in front of you. And once again, as we said before, there is no point having a fight. No one's going to win if you're both trying to get into the same space at the same time. So if someone else is driving aggressively, the best thing you can do is to drive defensively and just back off the accelerator a small amount and allow them to go in front of you. Now, as we're heading up Winchester Road towards the St James's Road traffic lights, there's not going to be much kind of like going on. A little bit of traffic, as there often is on this road. My main area of concern here is showing off my eco-driving skills. You see, I'm not trying to keep too close to the vehicle in front of me because I'm anticipating at some stage that I'm going to be constantly speeding up and slowing down. So my main aim is to try and use the accelerator as little as possible and to let the car just continue coasting along so that we are doing as good an eco-drive as we possibly can. There is no point in getting to a position where we have to come to a full stop as quickly as possible. You waste fuel getting there, and then you stop, and then you have to waste more fuel to get back up to speed again. So eco-driving is going to be something the examiners are going to be looking out for. So try when you can to show off how good you are at driving efficiently. The examiners will be looking for it. Now, just after we go past the traffic lights at the junction of St James's Road, we're going to have a ghost island develop on the left hand side. It's pretty poorly marked, but it is clearly motioning you to go to the right hand side, and as we're turning left we need to go to the right hand side and then we need to observe, indicate and move into the left hand lane. If there is a queue in the right hand side of the road that prevents you from getting into the left hand lane even though it is clear that the space is available, if it is safe to do so, the markings do tell you, because there is a broken line, that you are allowed to progress through that ghost island if it is safe to do so and you have a need to do so. If there are no queue in the right hand lane, you do need to go around that ghost island. The chevron markings should not be used unless you have a need to and it is safe to do so, but you can take account of that on your test. As we entered Dale Valley Road, luckily I was looking quite far ahead of myself and I saw that the delivery vehicle was indicating to the left, and as we come round that corner we could clearly see that the vehicle was pulling up on the side of the road. That means I was already planning for that vehicle coming to a complete stop, so it wasn't a surprise to me as I came around the corner that I needed to go into a holdback position for the vehicle that was coming the other way, and once the road had cleared I do my observation centre and right to move out around the delivery vehicle. As it's a delivery vehicle, there's a good saying, where there's a van there's a man. So even though the vehicle will come to a complete stop, I am anticipating the driver to be getting out so that they can continue with their deliveries. Anytime you see something like that, like a work van on the side of the road, you should anticipate that there is going to be someone working around that van. Dale Valley Road is a good opportunity for the examiner to get you to pull up on the left hand side. It's also a good opportunity to get them to pull up on the right hand side, of course, if you're going to be doing that part of the manoeuvre, but you could be thinking that they're going to be asking you to stop quite a lot on this road. It is a good place for them to do parallel parking and pull up on the right. So I'm constantly looking as far down the road as possible so that I can see areas of safety, gaps where I can move back onto my side of the road safely, and I'm planning for it as I'm going down the road. You can see my head is constantly moving centre mirror right, centre mirror left as I'm making little changes in my lane position. Speeding the video up again here because the turn into Lords Hill Road can be quite tricky at busy times. It's actually quite difficult to judge the vehicles coming down the hill, what we call Snaky Valley. You can't see very far down the road, so it is challenging to make that decision. Make sure you get all the way up to the giveaway line and make sure you give yourself your best opportunity to see as far down the road as possible. Yes, you did see me making a little bit of a false start there. If at all possible, just keep yourself still until you know for certain that you're going to be progressing. In that situation, I misread the signal, come off the brake a little bit too early and had to come to a stop pretty quickly afterwards. Potentially would have gone down as a control issue at the junction. At the crossroads ahead by what used to be the Woodman, we're going to have 3 lanes. We're going to be following the road ahead, so we clearly go into the middle lane. As we cross past the traffic lights, there is going to be a bus lane on our left hand side. Clearly we're not able to join that, so we're going to continue in the right hand side of our lane until the bus lane has finished, and we've got some merge and turn arrows. It is important to note that just because it is a bus lane, it is not exclusively for the use of buses. Taxis can use them as well, so you may find that some taxis go around that corner at quite a speed, and they may be passing you on your left hand side, so don't assume just because you don't see any buses there that are not going to be any vehicles trying to go up your left hand side here. Centre mirror left, pay attention to the merge and turn arrows. Personally, I'd recommend just continuing down the road in a straight line. I wouldn't move myself to the left. It's just an unnecessary movement. Now we are coming to the back end of this test route now, just going all the way down Lordswood Road. You want to be careful as you're going past that section with Woburn Road there for vehicles that are pulling out from Woburn Road using the slip road. Many things that you can do to help them out. Controlling your speed is going to be very, very important if it's safe to do so. Observations indicate to the right, move across to the right hand lane, give them the extra space to get out of that junction. But we're heading down to the Lords Hill roundabouts by the Sainsbury's. You should have done a lot of work here with your instructor. They're not the most complicated roundabouts in the world once you understand the layout and the structure and what's expected of you. As you're coming off the second of the roundabouts and you're going down the hill here, be careful that you don't increase your speed too much, as you can carry quite a decent speed around those roundabouts. You generally think that you need to accelerate when you come off a roundabout, but that extra speed actually does work against you. It is very easy to speed as you're going down that hill. The last thing we've got to do is to turn right into Green Lane. Remember, there is a set of pedestrian crossings just before you do the turn. Keep an eye out if there's any pedestrians around the area that may activate them, because you'll need to come to a complete stop if the traffic lights change. And the last thing we've got to do is turn into the test centre onto the left hand side, and that brings an end to the route. If you did like this content and you found some things useful, just remember to like the video and to subscribe to my channel so that you can see when new videos become available. Other than that, thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you watching one of my videos again real soon. Take care. Bye.